Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Chris here again with Hertastic Reviews. You know what this show is all about. What we do is we talk about Blu-rays, we do Blu-ray review releases, and we do a lot of top fives, and that's what I'm bringing you here today. If you're new to this channel, I just want to say, hey, what's going on? Thanks for checking us out. Really appreciate the support. If you're returning again, man, just get ready for another good time like last video, which if you are here for the first time or you missed last video, I went ahead and I showed my entire horror movie Blu-ray collection. It was awesome. It was such a good time. I had so much fun doing it. If you want to see more videos like that, I definitely recommend checking out my entire Blu-ray collection, which I'm starting to think it's a little overdue. But if you haven't, I definitely recommend checking out our podcast show, which is called Inside the Sequel. You can look that up. It's on Spotify, it's on iTunes, it's on Google Podcasts. You can even just check out on Podbean where we host the show. Basically what it is where we talk about sequel movies and why they're great and why you need to check them out. And that's always a link down below in the description. But today for this video, what we're going to be talking about is Criterion's. And me and Criterion have such a weird relationship. Sometimes I love them, sometimes I don't. I mean, they're not Arrow, but they put out good stuff, yada yada. But since it's October and we just did everyone got to see my entire horror movie collection, I wonder if there were some movies maybe people wanted me to talk about some more. And with the rumored, I'm playing with my hair because it's just looking weird. But if there's a rumored Criterion sale that's going to be happening soon. I can't say whether I will or not. I know Nathan's going to, and I know Elliot and some of these awesome other YouTubers are going to take advantage of it. But I'm still on the fence. But since it's October and you need some horror movies, and if you're a Criterion collector, maybe there's a question of like, what horror movies are in the Criterion collection that I should check out? Well, I have 5 here. That's right, 5 that I think you should definitely check out this October season. And I think I might even do my top 5 recommended Arrow and top recommended Screen Factories at some point. But today we're talking Criterion, so let's go in. With the first one being from 1994. It's part of Guillermo del Toro's trilogy. It's Chronos. Here's the box set. Chronos is the first film on here from 1993-94. And the reason I recommend it is because, well, if you like vampire movies and you like kind of like some suspense and you like Ron Perlman, this is the movie for you. This is basically Guillermo del Toro's take on like the Dracula story in a way. There's this thing called the Chronos, and it's basically like a little like it looks like a beetle of sorts. It's like the shield basically if you own the films individually. It's a cover, it looks like a shield, and it latches onto the person and it draws blood and it gives them immortal life. Or youth in life. But the thing is, you have a sensation for blood, so they start killing, and that's where the vampire take kind of goes into effect. And the main character, Jesus, he's like an antique shop owner, and his granddaughter is with him. And once he finds this antique and it latches onto him, he doesn't want to get rid of it. But then there's like this business guy who sends his son or nephew, I believe, Ron Perlman, to go and try and retrieve this thing. And it's a pretty good time. It's not one of Del Toro's best. It's very early on, and I definitely recommend it this October because I don't see that movie talked about very much, and I think it's just a great time for the most part. I think it's a little funny at times. The gore is really great, and the acting's pretty top notch for the most part. So it's definitely a movie to check out. But moving on from Del Toro, we're going to go to David Cronenberg with this film. This is from 1983, Videodrome, starring James Woods. So Videodrome, look at this release. You look at it here, it looks like a VHS tape, and bam, there it is. And it says, "Long live the new flesh." I love this release. But Videodrome, 1983, David Cronenberg. He did Shivers, he did The Brood, which is also in the collection, and he did the film that's getting a new 4K release in Crash from Arrow. But Videodrome, I've seen once, and it's never left my mind since. Basically, James Woods is a reporter or a TV reporter who like runs a really rundown, gross, it says sleazy, I believe, yeah, TV station. And there's this one channel called Videodrome, and it's basically it's a torture porn show where it's like it's kind of pseudo-sexual and a lot of torture goes on, and it gets a lot of views, which is scary. And he's trying to like figure out what this Videodrome is, like this channel, because it's so like weird and mysterious. And I don't know. It's just so insane. Like, you have to watch it to believe it. There's a lot of imagery in here that's disturbing, but also super cool. And yeah, Videodrome is just such a good time. And let's see, it won from writer-director Cronenberg and features groundbreaking makeup effects by award winner Rick Baker. So there you go. The effects are top-notch, like I said, so you definitely have to check this movie out to believe it yourself. This is the movie where like his James Woods' face goes into the TV. You can also get this. I think it's on the Criterion Channel right now streaming. So the Criterion Channel is just streaming a bunch of 1970s movies and horror movies in general for October. And I definitely recommend you check that out. I think this is part of that. If not, just buy the Blu-ray during this upcoming flash sale. Really great stuff. Moving on to the top 3 here. Now, these are in no rank in particular order. These are just the way I grab them from the shelf. I don't love any of them anymore. Well, actually, I do love a little bit more than a few. But this one I absolutely love because it's French. It's from the 60s, and it's a horror movie. And that is Eyes Without a Face. Now, you see here the mask kind of gives a hint to what this movie is going to be about. So Eyes Without a Face is a 1961 film. No, 1960, excuse me. And it's basically about this doctor who has a beautiful daughter who he wants to do surgery on her to replace her face because she's wearing this like white pale mask, which you can see here in the cover. And he's starting to go a little mad, and it's just so good. This is directed by Georges Franquis, I believe is how you pronounce his name. And there's a lot of gore in this movie that's for its time pretty surprising and great because obviously there's faces being replaced. It feels like I don't know, kind of like a Hammer I shouldn't say William Castle. It's definitely of its own breed, but I can see this movie being of kind of like a prelude to like the slasher genre in a way, with like, Hannibal Lecter, and then like a few like Leatherface and the Texas Chainsaw series, like face removals. But what I like about this movie is it's just shocking at times, and the score is just fantastic. I like the characters because the doctor kind of fakes his daughter's death, and his apprentice is in love with her, and he like lies to her, and so there's some drama there, and that's really great. And there's just the investigation piece is really good. But yeah, Eyes Without a Face, I would definitely check out. It's by number 260, so it was really early on, and this cover is just absolutely gorgeous with the black and pink. It's just great stuff here. And you kind of have to figure, it's weird because like the main character is the doctor, and he's not really the good guy either. So that's kind of, I'm always thrown really in an excited way when that's who the protagonist is. So a really good movie there. The next two are pretty good. This one is a little bit more, viewer discretion, just because some of the content in it is a little upsetting. But that is 1965's Roman Polanski's Repulsion. So Repulsion is part of the Apartment trilogy that Roman Polanski had. So it was this, Rosemary's Baby, and Tenet, or The Tenet. And Repulsion is great because it's so eerie and it's scary, and it's kind of ironic that Polanski did this movie, but also it's like it kind of holds up too. So the character in the movie, Carol, she's like a young girl, and she's kind of has like this weird phobia of like men, and she like doesn't like to be like alone, and she has to take care of her sister's apartment for a weekend, and she just cannot handle it, and you just get thrown into like a nightmare of like her phobias and just like the nerves and the scariness of like living alone as a young woman in an apartment in a city, and not knowing what's going to happen. So that's really scary. And this movie just is absolutely pitch black. It is just cutthroat at times. And the imagery is just scary. So you see the arm here, and there's a scene with the hallway with this, and you can't tell if she's hallucinating or these things are going on. Definitely a very surreal film. There's some upsettingness in this movie with the character of Carol, but it's a movie that hasn't left my mind since I first saw it, and it's one of Polanski's best. And I really love this movie because it is so scary and it's shocking at times for its time. I've been going through a lot of 1960s films and like realizing, like horror movies wise, like wow, like they could have done these things at this time. I had no idea. Like I didn't think like the stuff was happening until like the 70s. And when I don't know, it's just so fascinating to me. So Repulsion is definitely one to check out. The final one is like one of my favorites in the entire collection because it has one of my all-time favorite actors in it. That is The Uninvited from 1944, starring Ray Milland. So Ray Milland and his sister adopt this house, and it's like a haunted house, but they don't know that. It's like haunted because of that's why they got the house so cheap. It's like on the lakeshore, but like apparently a woman fell off the cliff and killed herself. And the movie starts off like a squeaky clean horror movie, but then you start to get this eerie feeling in this haunted house of maybe some things gone wrong. And Ray Milland likes this really young girl, and it feels really weird for its time. It's I guess because like Major the Minor and stuff like that. But it's like a romantic horror haunted like not comic, but like there's some funny moments, but like it feels like a 40s like romantic comedy in a way, but it's a horror movie in a house. It's just so weird. But Ray Milland's character, he's just lonely. He's an attractive guy, and he's with his sister in this house, and things are going crazy. And then the girl he's talking to basically. I think it's her father or grandfather, like warns her not to ever go to that house, and apparently she's attached to this house in some way, which is part of the mystery of the movie. There's a seance in this film as well. And there's just like some good, cool smoke and mirrors effects in this movie as well that I absolutely enjoy. For its time in 1944, I feel like it shocked a lot of people, especially when Ray Milland was in this, because he did Major the Minor, Easy Living. He ended up doing Lost Weekend the year after. It's not a Billy Wilder movie. It's directed by Lewis Allen, you know? So when I think Ray Milland in this movie, I think it's like, oh, Billy Wilder did this movie, but it's not. And it kind of gets dark at times, especially like near the third act. Yeah, about in the third act, there's some weird, crazy stuff that starts to happen inside the house. And it gets really enjoyable, and there's some suspense in there too, like some deaths you might think were going to happen and might happen. I'm not going to spoil too much, but I really enjoyed this movie. I think it's just like when people think of like haunted house movies, I think this is the movie people need to check out. I think like people say, oh, you got to watch the Amityville Horror and stuff like that, but like I think you need to check this movie out, and then like House on Haunted Hill. You know, like these are like they may be a really good double feature, but. I think this movie really is underrated. I don't think it gets talked about enough, and it's a comfort blanket film for me. It's just so fun to watch. But yeah, those are my 5 Criterion movies that you definitely need to check out during this October season. If you have any recommendations, please drop it down in the comments below. Let me know what I'm missing out on. I've seen quite a few different ones. Night of the Living Dead has been omitted, I know, but I mean, obviously you gotta watch that movie, so like I don't need to talk about it. But if you like this video, please give me a like, comment down below. What are some things? I definitely recommend checking out the podcast. If you've been listening to it, give me some feedback down below. What have you thought about it? Maybe you have some suggestions. Either way, thank you all for watching. Enjoy your October season. I'd love to know what you're watching down below. You can follow me on Twitter at HertasticChris, and you can follow the podcast Inside the Sequel at the Inside Sequel. So you can follow me there. Hit me up on Instagram, whatever you'd like. But my name's Chris here at Hertastic Reviews, and remember, if you're not watching Criterion horror movies during October, do you really care about film? We'll see you next time.